Welcome back to RX Muscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2019, brought to you by Chemical Warfare. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest has been on the show before, and he's a good friend to the show, and we'd love to have him back. And I'm happy to announce that Danny Union is joining us again.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I said it before the show, but I'm going to say it again. In that shirt you're wearing, that Arnold shirt, and the way you're all leaned out now, and you got the very defined, well-groomed beard there, you look like you should have a role in a movie somewhere. Like you should be like one of the bad guys in a movie,
That's the plan in future.
I think Hollywood is missing out on you. You should go do some auditions or something like that.
Actually, everywhere I go, people always tell me I remind them of Sylvester Stallone when he was younger. I kind of have same.
Yeah,
look.
you do a little bit. But I'm saying you do. You have a face for the film. I don't know if you're into that or anything like that, but I think you could definitely get a role. You have a good physique, and
before I turned pro, I went to an acting school. So I took some classes, and that's my plan. After bodybuilding, eventually I want to go into movies and stuff like that.
Arnold ought to put you in one of his movies, man. He could certainly be, right now with the beard, you look like a bad guy. But I bet if you shave, you probably could be the good guy. But
yeah,
it's always good to be a good bad guy first, and then people remember you.
Yeah, I actually about few years ago, I got an audition for Arnold's and Sylvester Stallone's movie, but I never made it. I actually didn't go to the audition. It was the Escape Plan.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go.
I used to go to these auditions in Manhattan. I would take the Long Island Railroad from my house on Long Island. It was like a 45-minute ride, and I'd sit on the train and I go for them. And I didn't like doing it because I was lazy. When you're bodybuilding, you're in the midst of, you don't want to miss meals, and but I always made myself go. And every time, the times that I wanted to go the least, those were the times I always got the commercial role or the movie role. Because sometimes, it's cattle call. You go to all these auditions, and most of the ones you don't get. But the ones you always don't want to go to, those are the ones that you wind up getting. So if you have opportunities, never miss them. You never know when that could be the big, break you've been looking for, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, funny thing, the reason why I don't really go to the auditions, because I live in San Diego, and then all the auditions happens in LA. And every time I want to go, I think about my training, my meals, and
I know. Can't turn it down though. You never know. You might have to, you might have to move up north a little bit, up there to Venice or something.
Not with this traffic.
No.
Is really bad
what's with the traffic in California? No one wants to drive anywhere anymore. It's ridiculous. What's going on over there?
I have no. I guess because it's nice and beautiful weather, and we have all the beaches here. But I live in San Diego. We don't really have any traffic.
Right.
And it's pretty mellow. I live from the gym I work out at, the gym San Diego.
Yeah.
It's about 17 miles. It literally takes me 10 minutes to get there. But if I was in LA, it would take me like an hour.
If not more. No one wants to drive there. It was terrible. That's why when I used to go to Venice, I used to stay in Venice because I never left. I didn't want to go to LA. I didn't want to go, to Sherman. My friend lived in Ventura. I didn't want to go anywhere because I didn't want to sit in traffic. And the funny thing is there's like 400 lanes on both sides of the road, and there's still traffic. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because there's no mass transit there. New York City has, the trains, the Long Island Railroad, the subways. Yeah. Can't have that in LA with the earthquakes.
especially if you're like getting ready for a show.
Yeah,
you're barely having any carbs, any food, and like eat a pre-workout meal and go to the gym, and you get stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the gym, you already crashed.
Yeah. Oh, of course. New York traffic sucks too, but it's not as bad as LA. But when I moved, I always hated driving because I hate sitting in traffic. I don't mind sitting in the car and driving. I don't like to sit and go nowhere. I feel like I'm not making any progress. So. Like when I drive in Florida, I'll drive 200 miles like it's like nothing because it doesn't matter. I'm not sitting in traffic. There's no traffic here. You drive, and you go. That's why Texas too. Those guys in Texas, they'll drive 4 hours like it's like nothing because you're actually doing something. You're actually moving. You're not sitting at a standstill,
Yep. Yeah, it drives me crazy, man. I hate to drive. Like Olympia every year, I always fly to Vegas. I never drive. I know a lot of people like to drive. not for me.
No,
I just don't have that patience.
Well, yeah, when you're dieting, also, you tend to fall asleep a lot too, and you don't need to fall asleep at the wheel. Let's talk about the prep. You qualified last year at the Legion Sports Fest. You won that show. That qualified you for this year's Olympia. You've taken the whole year off. You've put on about 8 to 10 pounds of muscle by your own admission, and you look a lot bigger. When I saw you with that cut-off shirt on just now, you don't look like the same person.
Yeah. Actually, Dave, you know what? Me and George, we are bringing improved physique. Just similar to Roman's status, to be honest.
Yeah.
We are aiming for that first spot, and God is willing. And if anyone beats me, I won't make it easy for them. But if they do, I'll be the first one to shake their hand. But right. I'm so confident after my rookie year last year, placing 6th at the Arnold's,
right?
Winning Fit World, going to Olympia, placing 6th at the Olympia, and then winning the Legion Sport. I know I belong there. I know the judges love the way I look, and I know what I had to work on. And I to bring in a little bit more bigger, a little bit wider, and bring that same conditioning. And I believe I did that.
Yeah, you were like one of the more overlooked guys last year, even though maybe you weren't as big as you are now. You always brought the crazy conditioning to the stage, and I noticed that a lot. I always saw it in you. I was always like, why aren't they giving this guy some love? And then eventually, you got the win at the end of the season there, so that was, I think, a good validation for you. And it was smart. You took the year off. You put on the weight you needed to put on. You can grow into this division still, and I think you're going to be very competitive,
Yeah, can't wait, man. Like I said, I haven't had off season since like 2016. I mean, I was making improvement, but it wasn't any of a big improvement. So this year, as soon as I got my qualification, I decided to shut the year off, just rested, let my body, rest and do the work. And, I put on I'm going to be on stage about 8 to 10 pounds heavier this year. Yeah, we started. Me and George started our prep 20 weeks out this time. We taper it down really slow. Mm-hmm. I don't even have to lose any weight to make my weight class. I'm 202 right now.
Wow.
My cutoff is 200.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes it a lot easier too. So you don't have to worry about sucking down and then getting too flat and all the things that go along with that. Now
he's actually feeding me a lot. We just recently added another meal to my plan, so I'm eating 7 meals a day.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, and a lot of carbs too. So my training, I don't know if you've seen my videos on YouTube and Instagram, but my training been ridiculously strong, Yeah,
you know what? I don't watch all your videos. I was going to bring up Instagram and everything like that because you put so many up that I can't keep up with them. You're like one of the number. I've never seen anyone put so much social media up as you do. And you're very popular because of it, because you constantly give people like to watch people's social media feeds and their pages because there's content up there. You're one of these guys that always has content up there. So if you're into watching your progress, it's like you got an ongoing soap opera on a regular basis. A lot of guys can't do that. They can't be as consistent as you are.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to put myself out there because last year going to the Olympia, I was the dark horse. Nobody was talking about me. Nobody was mentioning my name. Everybody was mentioning only the people that were big on social media.
Sure.
So this year I'm doing something different. Yes, I don't put any progress pictures and stuff like that, but I try to put in as much as videos as possible and workouts just to keep connected with with people.
No, it's smart.
And it's been working.
It's like you're running when you run for president. You gotta campaign. You're a campaigner out there.
Yeah.
Well, because you know what the judges like familiarity too. If they see someone that they know and it's close between one guy and another, who do you think it's human nature? Who do you think they're going to vote for? They're going to vote for the person they know, right?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, that's the way it works.
It's all about popularity and social media.
How big are your arms now? They look like they grew a lot.
Oh, my arms, I don't know. I haven't measured them, to be honest, but...
They weren't that big last year, that's for sure.
No, I probably added about an inch to 2 inches. I don't know. They're really big right now.
That's crazy progress, Danny.
Yeah.
No one adds 2 inches to their arms in 1 year.
Yeah, honestly, like I knew I needed that break. So as soon as I was done with my with qualification last year. I just rested, gave my body, you know, I was only working out 4 days a week, eating, staying on my plan, wasn't cheating too crazy,
Right.
you know. And honestly, with George, even off season, he barely gives me any cheat meals.
Right.
Like every once in a while, he tells me, "Hey, go have a cheat meal," and that's off season too. So it's not like
Really? Okay.
you know, pre-contest. Pre-contest never, not even a refeed.
Right, but he gives you a lot of food though, so you really don't even need it. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're eating like you know, a ton of carbs and you're eating like 6 or 7 meals, I mean, how much more food do you need at that point? If you're starving, so you know, I work with some of these girls. I got to give them no food, so I got to give them a cheat meal once a week, you know, because otherwise they'll go nuts. You know what I mean? But you're eating so much food, you probably don't even want a cheat meal, you know?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of carbs throughout the day. The only time I don't have carbs is the last 2 meals of the day.
Right.
You know, like in the morning I have like 11 ounce of potato.
Wow.
You know, my second, third, and fourth meal I have like cup of rice and like 5 ounce of potato.
All right, that's not a lot of carbs. I mean, that's good amount. It's nice amount of carbs, but it's not like excessive by any means.
Yeah. No.
I see in the background there you framed your Olympia jacket. You're very proud of that, obviously.
Oh, I'm very proud, man. This was a dream come true for me. You have no idea. Every year, ever since I got into bodybuilding,
yeah,
I used to see people wearing this jacket. I actually went online trying to buy it so many times and I couldn't find it. You know, I just wanted to have it, and now that I have it, it's like a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
I had to frame it. It's my first Olympia. I have my medal here.
Yeah.
I have my name,
ID.
picture, and everything.
Yeah.
So I have to take care of this one.
No, well,
And
you remember it. You always remember the first one, right?
Yeah, and then this year I'm getting another one, so I'll be wearing that one more often.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can wear this one now. Now, the trick is to get an Olympia gold medal that you can frame. Then that's something you can really remember and treasure, right?
You know, I can feel it, man. To be honest, like I said, I'm gonna be very competitive this year, man.
All right. Well,
I mean, I don't see any gaps in my physique. Conditioning wise, right now my condition, I'm about 10 days out from what I was last year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You look good. I mean, you look very good.
Thank you. Very conditioned, man.
Mm-hmm.
So,
look, I think you're going to be one of the dark horses. That's why I got you on to interview you, because I think that you're going to be one of the guys that no one's expecting to come in there, and I think you're going to be very dangerous. I have you clearly top 5 right from the start, and it's going to be a very, very stacked lineup, you know.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, this Olympia will be one of the hardest, to be honest. There's so many talented guys out there, man.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's putting in the work, but I am too.
Yeah, no.
So every day, day in and day out.
I just interviewed George Peterson too, and we were talking about that. And you know, this year they're weighing guys in on Thursday for a Saturday show, right? So it's going to give the guys who really have trouble making weight, I guess, a little extra time to fill out. So I don't know if that will change. What I find is that when you give people too much time to fill out, a lot of times they overdo it. So, you know, you never know. That might not be necessarily a good thing for the big guys, you know?
Yeah, especially people that suck in a lot, you know. For me, I like George started filling me up like very slow from like if a show was like last year was Friday, he was carving me up like Wednesday afternoon. We started carving up, but very slow. Yeah. Very, very slow. You know. Yeah. So we'll see what happens this year.
Well, you know, next year you can gain another 10 pounds because you'll still be able to suck down to the weight probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. And hopefully, you know, because I always measured wrong all the shows. Like last year, I told you, like in our last interview, they measured me short, so I had to weigh in at 192. Right.
Yeah. So what's have you talked to anyone about the fact that your height was not consistent last year?
I did, and then I talked to Taylor Manion, and then at the weigh-ins at the Olympia, he was like, after this, you're not gonna get checked height anymore. Okay. So they measured me correctly, as shown on my ID, 5'8" and a quarter, and that gave me another 8 pounds, 7 pounds.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge difference. I mean, they got to consistently give people, all right, this is your height. Now you know what you have to make. We're not going to be playing games, and all of a sudden you're going to show up at the Olympia and you got to lose 8 pounds. That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, that's true. It makes it too also like very. very comfortable feeling, knowing that you already know what your height is, and you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Because for me, every year.
Don't you think, this, I mean, this doesn't, I'm not like a genius or anything by any means, but don't you think that if you're doing a weight, height classes based on height versus weight, that they would maybe go by centimeters as opposed to inches?
Probably.
So you can because there's 8 pounds between one height class to the next. It's ridiculous. There should be an in between 4 pounds. If you're a couple centimeters, taller or shorter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's too extreme.
I mean, they should.
It's too extreme. You can't have such a big gap just from a half an inch. Use centimeters. If you're 2 centimeters less, then you get 4 pounds. You got to lose. That's a big difference. I don't think they got to measure people on using more specific measuring apparatuses. In other words, instead of using inches, use centimeters. Use millimeters. Let's make this a real science. You can grade it all the way down. You could have that whole 8-pound gap between a half an inch here and a half an inch there. You could have every single gradation in the middle so that you can find exactly what the person's height is and figure out exactly what their weight should be, rather than just kind of guess, because 8 pounds is a big gap from one height class to the next.
Yeah, especially for shorter guys, then you have to stand with taller guys.
Yeah.
So.
The tall guys to have an easier time because they can weigh a lot more. But I think that they should grade the classes a little differently. Look, if we were in Europe and this was all being run out of Europe, it would definitely be done by centimeters. They certainly wouldn't be using inches, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they do it differently there. Even with driving miles, they don't have miles.
No, they have kilometers. Yeah, but anyway, I like to argue the minutia, but the trick is that I don't like to see competitors have to do dangerous things to make weight. And for Classic, if you don't make weight, you ain't competing. I mean, This is a big deal. It's one thing for them to tell you, okay, you're 3 pounds overweight. It's another thing when they say, oh, by the way, you're not as tall as you thought you were. You got to lose 10 pounds, by in a half hour. It's not gonna happen.
What's so funny? Last year I was at the weigh-ins. A couple of guys there, they couldn't make weight class, and it was ridiculous. I mean, every time they come and they measure, they do the weight. Oh, you have to go lose another 2 pounds, and literally guys would take off everything,
right?
Just to make the weight class, and still some of them had to come back and weigh in again.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least now we don't have to do as many shows, as before.
Right.
With the new system.
Yeah, I like the new system. I said that they should have a qualification round before they actually get the prejudging, because look, the Olympia should be the best of the best in the world up there. It shouldn't be 50 people on the stage. It's not a local show. It's the best of the best. So you got to have an elimination round if you have too many shows and you have too many people up there. Because I only want to see the top 12 guys, top 15 guys competing, because I don't care about the rest of them. We're going for the best in the world. We're not looking to place people, 1 through 50,
Yeah, I mean, this year they're only gonna have 10 people at the finals. So
that's great. I think it's a great idea. I feel bad for the people who don't make the top 10, but I don't want to see anyone else other than the top 10. As a press guy or as a fan, I only want to see the best 10 guys in the world. That's what I want to see.
That's true, and it will make them more competitive too.
Then they could spend more time analyzing them and comparing you guys up there, because if you have 25 guys you have to compare, invariably the top guys don't get the call-outs that they should be getting. But if you have 10 people up there, you can do 15 call-outs. Everyone's getting compared to everyone. That's going to be more fair for you guys, the competitors, don't you think?
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true, man. I think if there's so many athletes up there and they have certain time to finish it, the prejudging, then they're just gonna go really quick, and a lot of guys will not get a chance to be compared. Because last year at the Olympia, they didn't call me out in the first call out.
I remember.
As soon as they saw me in the lineup, they knew that I could, be up there, so they called me out. at the first call, and I end up being in the middle with George and Henry and Arash.
I remember that. So, you were all excited. I saw it in your face.
Yeah, I was very excited.
Well, they almost overlooked you, but then luckily, someone out there noticed you. But if they had, like you said, if they have a lot of time, they can spend more time comparing. Because you know what it is? They usually get the first place and second place right. What happens is invariably is third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Those are the places that sometimes don't really get placed correctly because they kind of blow through it, because, all right, let's just get these guys off stage. We got to get to the next class. But if you have enough time, now you can compare, fourth place with second place and sixth place with third place because maybe you missed something,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No one knew who you were. I mean, you could have placed higher than you did.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how everything's gonna play out with the new system. So I think they're only gonna have like 20 people starting next year, right?
Well, they're gonna do an elimination round. You can still qualify. You got to pay your own way, and then they'll do a qualification round. If you make it past that round to the actual prejudging, then they'll reimburse you your expenses. So only a certain amount of people will make it to the actual prejudging, but there'll be comparisons in Vegas there at the Olympia. It just won't be the prejudging. It'll be like a prejudging, which I think it's a great idea. Get the thing eliminated down to a manageable amount of people so that when we get to the prejudging, as fans, we can enjoy it more,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it would suck for people that come in from, all over the world and to be on stage for like a few minutes. But I mean, hey, at least they're gonna be in Vegas, So.
Danny, when I did the Nationals back in the 90s, okay, they used to, and they still do it today once in a while, they used to have an elimination round. Only the top 15 got to do their 1 minute free posing and prejudging and actually go to the rest of the comparison round. It wasn't everyone going, so what they would do is they would line you up in groups and they would run you through your poses, and then you'd go backstage and then they would call out your names. It's the top 15. And then those guys would come out and do their 60-second free posing, and then they would come out for the call outs. So some guys did literally a quarter turn, went off stage, and they were done. That was their Nationals. And you know what? Tough shit. It's the Nationals. That's the way it is. If you're not good enough to make the top 15, maybe you shouldn't be there, Just because you qualify doesn't mean you need to go. So, I mean, that's the way it is. When you're talking about the best of the best, it's not like everyone gets a chance to play. We're trying to find the best guy in the world here. This is the Mr. Olympia competition.
Yeah, especially with the regional competitions,
Yep.
Everybody now gets to go to nationals. They place like third, second. National qualifier. But
yes.
Okay, you're gonna go to nationals. That's a totally different, competitors. So.
Exactly. You want to pay the money to go there? Go ahead. But that doesn't mean you're guaranteed for anything. It just means you're guaranteed to get up on stage for at least a second. If you're not good enough, get out of there. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, good luck with the rest of your prep. I want to just, I love watching all your stuff, and I love your passion for the sport. And I think you're going to do real well at this Classic Olympia, and we'll be looking for you up there.
Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. I'll see you guys at the O.
All right, guys, and that'll take us to the end of another episode of RX Muscles Iron Road to the Olympia 2019, brought to you by Chemical Warfare. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.